With the elections around the corner, young voters are taking to the polls early.
Homecoming at UNT is currently underway with plenty of events for students to attend.
The Mega Millions still hasn't been claimed. Local Dentonites comment on what they do with the money coming up.
From the Mayborn School of Journalism at the University of North Texas, this is NT Daily News.
Early voting for the midterm election started Monday. I'm Sierra Mays.
And I'm Juliana Leon. It looks like the increase in voter registration means an increase in voter turnout so far. Alicia Sells is live at the Denton Civic Center.
I'm at one of nearly 24 voting locations here in Denton. Election officials say that the turnout on the first day of early voting was very high. Lines were long and people were eager to vote. One voter I talked to said he tried to vote on the first day he could, but he didn't want to use his name because this year's elections are too divisive.
I came by yesterday and there were just too many people for me to vote. I couldn't stand in line that long. I got a little problem with one of my legs, as you can see. But I wanted to get out here early this morning and try to get my vote in.
Denton County is ready for an influx of voters. It hired 10 temporary workers to help at voting locations. Early voting continues through Election Day. This is Alicia Sells, NT Daily TV.
A lot of eyes are on who is turning out to vote. I found out why midterms are important and who could make a difference.
The saying is, everything is bigger in Texas. That is, except for voter participation. In the 2016 presidential election, Texas ranked 47th in the U.S. for voter turnout. This year, Texas residents could change that because voter registration is up. A record 15.6 million people registered to vote for the midterm elections. That trend is mirrored here in Denton, where 90,000 more people registered than the last midterm election. But turnout is key. One UNT senior says she hopes more students vote.
College kids are a huge demographic in the United States, and we have a lot of power, we have a lot of influence politically, and we're affected by pretty much everything that's being discussed in politics right now. So we really don't have any reason not to vote.
Mujica voted in the 2016 presidential election. She has become passionate about voting.
Like everything that is going to be voted on, every issue that's being debated right now is going to affect us in the future more than anyone else. And we're going to have to be the ones that are going into the economy and society and the job market and deal with all of these decisions. So if we don't vote, then we're not really getting any say in the way that our lives are going to be for the next who knows how many years.
18 to 29-year-olds are typically among those who are least likely to vote. This could lead to an underrepresentation of young people. Midterm elections are about rebalancing.
Midterm elections are important for a variety of reasons. One of the primary reasons is that presidents, in terms of their ability to influence Congress, rely heavily on their own political party. So when their party controls Congress, they're more likely to be successful. When their party doesn't control Congress, then they're likely to be less successful. Midterm elections afford the public an opportunity to kind of change policy priorities. And if indeed there's enough opposition to the president, then you might see a change in turnover in Congress, which could diminish the president's success in Congress.
Eshbaz Soha says this election will determine how President Donald Trump governs the rest of his presidency.
Voter turnout in Texas could drastically increase if college students decide to show up and vote. There are 20 locations in Denton that are now open for early voting. During the week, they open at 7 in the morning.
One of the first cryptocurrency businesses in the United States opened this week in Louisville Mall. Cirrus Technology sells products that consumers can buy using their cryptocurrency. These products include different electronics and their own personalized clothing. Staff members are there to help crypto miners repair mining machines, which assists in figuring out how much cryptocurrency a user has. The store also features a supercomputer that staff members use to show new users how mining works, and also to make a bit of money on the side. Cirrus Technology is open now and is located near the Macy's.
A North Texas attraction closed its gates after 48 years. Sandy Lake Park, an amusement park located in Carrollton, opened in 1970. According to the park's Facebook page, the business apologized for the abrupt closing and for the layoffs. The land was sold to a local landscaping company. It featured a locomotive ride, a miniature Ferris wheel, and picnic grounds. It was a popular site for families and local school band competitions.
North Texas will soon get a new living community for those who live with autism. 29 Acres is a local nonprofit organization who is making its vision of helping adults with autism come to life. Ground officially broke earlier this month after 3 years of planning. It will be located just outside of Denton in Crossroads off Highway 380. It's a community that will include group housing. Adults living with autism will get the chance to live independently along with the support of their own community. Construction is set to be complete in early 2020. You can find more information at the website 29acres.org.
UNT health officials are giving students another day for free HIV testing. The average cost of HIV testing in the U.S. is between $48 and $64. UNT, however, gives students a chance to receive a free HIV screening from the Mean Green machine. The mobile unit is another alternative to the free screenings that UNT offers on Thursdays. Nearly 8,500 youth received an HIV diagnosis in 2016, according to the CDC, and 80% of those youths occurred in the age range of 20 to 24.
We're trying to find a better way for students to get tested for HIV, and so our Mean Green screens tend to be on Thursdays, and so we wanted a way to get students to get tested for those who have like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday rotation.
The Student Wellness Center offers free HIV testing on first, third, and fourth Thursday of every month. The Mean Green testing machine is on campus the second Wednesday of every month. November the 7th is the next day UNT students can be tested.
UNT's Homecoming Week is in full swing. Coming up, we highlight events you don't want to miss.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Last week, UNT basketball hosted Mean Green Madness, where fans were able to preview the men's and women's team. They participated in a three-point shootout won by junior guard DJ Draper. The UPC gave away prizes and free food to those who attended. Savannah Humeler has more about the upcoming season.
With basketball season right around the corner, the men's and women's teams are hoping crowd support will help them execute wins. Last week, the programs put on a big show at the Mean Green Madness to drum up excitement from fans. The cheers from the stands mean a lot to the players.
Support. It was awesome at the end of the year, and even throughout the year, we had some consistent fans come out. But I would say just support through the ups and downs, and we're going to play hard for you no matter what.
The men finished last season 20-18 overall and won the College Basketball Invitational. This year, they're reaching for a conference win, and the team is relying on crowds to help get there.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you win, right? People get behind it, and there's an excitement about it, and then your home atmosphere is allows you to have momentum in games, and you know, it was such a great finish to the season this last year, and hopefully there'll be some continuity to that at the beginning of the season. And with everything that's going on campus, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. You need the students involved, and North Texas needs to be a place where nobody wants to see the pit.
Their reach may not be far away. Coach McCaslin believes the campus momentum will help encourage students to attend games.
And we're excited because our fans there's some momentum there too. I mean, on our campus with football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, I mean, everybody's got a lot of momentum going on. And so I think the whole university is in a tremendous place to really take advantage of it, and we need to have a great year to help benefit that.
The first game is November 6th at UNT's Super Pit. I'm Savannah Humeler for NT Daily TV.
Thank you, Savannah. UNT basketball games are free to students. The first women's game is on November the 3rd and the men's on November the 6th.
UNT Homecoming Week is this week. This year's homecoming will feature the 50th annual lighting of the bonfire and the homecoming game against Rice University. Along with the weekend's major events, other events on campus will be held for students and alumni throughout the week. Tie-dye and clothes for the big game shows, pep rallies, and They Yell Like Hell Spirit competition are just a few things that students and alumni can participate in this week. UNT's Homecoming Week has finally arrived, and this week will be full of activities for the students and alumni. But this year's UNT Homecoming is a little bit different. Instead of a king and queen this year, UNT students will pick the best student service project. I spoke with one student about her idea to help international students.
There is something going on every day on UNT's campus, and one of those things is voting for homecoming court. There's not a king and queen this year. Instead, one person will be crowned royalty. Voting opened on Monday, and students are running on what projects they would do to be their team.
So for my Campus Impact project, I would love to host a campus-wide welcome event for international students. This past semester, I teamed up with North Texas Athletics, and we planned Football 101. So we brought about 200 international students over to Apogee, and they got to see the facility and learn some of the football plays from the players. They were pumped.
The winner of this year's homecoming receives $1,000 to go toward their service project. They'll also have the chance to represent UNT with speaking engagements.
Especially with the new initiatives, it's really cool because you get to kind of have a say in what, which thing actually happens. So you can kind of pick a cause and see whose cause aligns with you. So that was a really cool addition.
Voting for UNT royalty ends on Thursday.
The winner will be named at UNT's homecoming game Saturday.
Coming up, we'll tell you what Trump is planning on doing with a particular group.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Retired Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor issued a statement on her health Tuesday. In a letter, the 88-year-old revealed she's been diagnosed with the beginning stages of dementia and probably Alzheimer's disease. She wrote, quote, "While the final chapter of my life with dementia may be trying, nothing has diminished my gratitude and deep appreciation for those countless blessings of my life." O'Connor was nominated to the bench by President Ronald Reagan in 1981. She was the first female Supreme Court Justice of the United States. She left in 2006 to care for her husband, who was battling Alzheimer's. O'Connor plans to continue living in Phoenix with her family.
As thousands of migrants stream north en route to the United States, all eyes are on Mexico's government. Under intense pressure from the Trump administration, Mexico so far has been unable to stem the flow of Central Americans heading for the U.S. Many migrants say they have gone too far to turn back. Most say, with the violence and poverty they are escaping, they have little, if anything, to go back to. CNN's Patrick Ottman reports near Tapachula, Mexico.
It is a river of people that heads in only one direction, north. The lucky ride on top of cars or on the sides of them. But most of the people walk in grueling heat, many carrying children or pushing them. Mexican police tried to stop the caravan of migrants at the border with Guatemala, but were unable to prevent them from crossing the river into Mexico. That's where we first saw 8-year-old Jorge as he struggled to make the swim across. A day later, we find him walking alone. He tells me in a weak voice that he's hoping to cross the border into the U.S., but after more than 7 days on the road, he is very tired. Jorge later reunited with an older brother who okayed our interview. After the caravan entered Mexico, federal police set up a roadblock with over 100 officers and told CNN they were going to force the migrants to get on buses that would take them to government shelters. There were too many people, more than 7,000 caravan organizers say, so police had to let them through. At least for now. These migrants have just entered Mexico. They are going north. They have hundreds of miles to go before they reach their destination, the United States, but they are being shadowed almost every step of the way by police. There's a heavy police presence here, and Mexico has said that they will treat these migrants with dignity, but they've also promised the Trump administration they will not let them get to the U.S.-Mexico border. The Trump administration is threatening to pull aid from countries that fail to prevent migrants from entering the U.S. illegally. But caravan organizers say they won't be bullied. We are going forward. There is no going back, he tells me. We are fighting. We will make the governments of Mexico and the United States understand why we are coming. It won't be easy. Single mother Blanca Lidia crossed the river into Mexico with her 3 children. The journey north was exhausting, but they would persevere, she said. I have faith, she says, that we will arrive. They will need all their faith and more for the hundreds of miles that still lay ahead of them. Patrick Ottman, CNN, traveling with the migrant caravan near Tapachula, Mexico.
President Trump is threatening to cut aid to 3 Central American countries. If Trump follows through with his threats, critics say it could further provoke the poverty and violence that are the root cause of the migration.
The term transgender could soon no longer be recognized by the federal government. Sex may be defined just 2 genders, male and female. The Trump administration is reportedly working on announcing rules to strictly define gender in America. It's gave rise to a march on the White House, and the hashtag won't be erased on social media. Andy Rose has the latest.
Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
We will not be erased. That's the message protesters chanted as they marched outside the White House.
People are scared and they are angry.
Protections for people who identify as transgender put in place by the Obama administration may be rolled back by President Trump, according to a report by the New York Times.
They have a lot of different things happening with respect to transgender right now. You know that as well as I do, and we're looking at it very seriously.
The government is considering defining someone's sex as solely male or female, a biological and unchangeable condition determined by genitalia at birth, according to the Times. Any chance to change or dispute that would have to be clarified using genetic testing, regardless of how someone may choose to identify. An estimated 1.4 million people identify as transgender in America. President Trump says his administration is still looking at the way the government recognizes the gender of trans people.
I'm protecting everybody. You know what I'm doing? I'm protecting everybody. I want to protect our country.
Tell me what you want, what you really want. Justice!
But the people who say they are threatened by this don't believe that the White House has their best interests at heart.
We are here
We are part of America. We always have been, and we always will be.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
Outreach Denton is a local support organization for the LGBTQA community. Donna Dalham is part of the Outreach Denton and is also the minister of a local church. She says the group is opposed to President Trump's recent statements because it does not align with the gender diversity. Outreach Denton will hold a panel discussion on November 18th at Denton Universalist Fellowship.
Video released to Turkish media over the weekend reveals the hours before his death as Saudi officials offered their first accounting of events, but still no body. Khashoggi disappeared after he entered the Saudi Arabia consulate in Istanbul on October the 2nd. A spokesman for Turkey's President Erdogan says it's a matter of honor they continue their investigation. As CNN's Nick Robertson reports, the discovery of Khashoggi's body would help the investigators and may provide insight into the role of one of the suspects, a top Saudi forensics expert.
Khashoggi's body is going cold. Video released to Turkish media over the weekend reveals the hours before his death. This as Saudi officials offer their first accounting of events.
This was an operation that was a rogue operation. This was an operation where individuals ended up exceeding the authorities and responsibilities they had. They made a mistake when they killed Jamal Khashoggi in the consulate, and they tried to cover up for it.
A fistfight, a chokehold, the implication being Khashoggi's death, an accident. In Riyadh, 18 people arrested. But there are still holes in the Saudi narrative. Not least, they say they're cooperating with Turkish investigators. But still, Khashoggi's body is missing. Where some of these consular vehicles went in the hours after Khashoggi's disappearance, still a mystery. Saudi leaks say his body given to a local collaborator. Forests and farms outside Istanbul have been at the centre of rumours his body may have been dumped there. But as yet, no evidence. On Saturday, Turkish investigators questioned consulate employees, including the Consul General's driver. But still no body. His friends demanding its return.
Give him back so that we can raise his funeral. Let the whole world watch Jamal Khashoggi's farewell, who was killed in a dark room with horrific details, and whose body is tried to be hidden.
President Trump asking too.
Somebody knows, but nobody of the various investigation groups at this moment know, but we'll find out.
The US president now beginning to question the role his Saudi ally, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, may have had in Khashoggi's death.
It's possible. You don't know that, but it's possible.
A spokesman for Turkey's President Erdogan says it's a matter of honor that they continue their investigation. The discovery of Khashoggi's body would help investigators and may shed some light on the role of one of the suspects, a top Saudi forensics expert. Nick Robertson, CNN, Istanbul, Turkey.
CIA Director Gina Haspel left for Turkey on Monday in a response to the international tension over Khashoggi's death.
No winners have been announced for the Mega Million, which has reached upwards of $16 billion. Coming up, see what few Denton locals would do with the money.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
The Mega Millions lottery jackpot is now up to $1.6 billion. A lottery ticket costs just $2. Match 6 numbers and you could win the grand prize. Some UNT students are already making plans if they win.
First things first, I would hire a lawyer. I'm gonna be smart with my money. I'm gonna hire a lawyer or like an accountant to make sure like I'm gonna do the right thing with my money. You know, I'm not trying to just go spend it. I'm not trying to be homeless in 2 years, you know. So that's the first thing I do.
I'd invest it and not touch it until I was
retired.
I think I just think too small and I'd probably get like a car or something, but then I wouldn't know what to do with, the rest of the $1 billion.
If I were to win the lottery, first of all, I would pay for no one to know that I won the lottery. I don't want nobody to know.
The odds of winning are 1 in more than 300 million. The winning numbers will be announced Tuesday night.
Wonder Woman fans are going to have a little more patience than they thought. David Daniel has that, plus more movie and music news in today's Hollywood Minute.
It is our sacred duty to defend the world, and it's what I'm going to do.
If you're having trouble waiting another year plus for Wonder Woman 1984 to arrive next November, brace yourself. Warner Brothers has pushed the superhero sequel back another 7 months to June 5th, 2020. The first Wonder Woman also opened in early June and was that summer's highest-grossing movie. Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro is taking on Pinocchio. He's set to make his animated feature film directing debut with the project, a stop-motion animated musical for Netflix. In a press release, del Toro says Pinocchio embarks on an extraordinary journey that leaves him with a deep understanding of his father and the real world. I've wanted to make this movie for as long as I can remember. After this summer's North American tour, Jeff Lynne's ELO is ready for more. The classic pop rockers have announced an even longer jaunt for next summer, 20 shows across North America, kicking off June 20th in Southern California. General public ticket sales begin October 29th. Check livenation.com for details. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I'm excited to see these films, and I can't wait to see what is coming up next. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for NT Daily News.